So the channel we're looking at today is Mergon Outdoors. Only a small channel. If we have a look at it, we can see he's only got 573 subscribers, 72 videos. So he's got a lot of shorts on the channel. If we go back to long format, there's not a great deal there. But this is the video here we're going to look at. Building a secret dugout under a fallen tree, solo bushcraft camping. So let's check this one out. Alright, little intro. Yeah. Alright, it's got quite a bit going on in this video. Alright, well, two things. I don't know if we needed that text on the screen. We can kind of figure it out. That was what's going on in this video. I think some of the things didn't need to be in there. Could have been shortened up a little bit. Bit dangerous walking along with your little hatchet like that without any guard on it at all. Especially through all that stuff. You trip over that and you land on your hatchet. It's going to be a bad day out. So yeah, little tip. If you walk around with a hatchet in your hand, make sure you've got it in a sheath. I don't know why you couldn't just put it inside of his backpack. You know, unless he's cutting stuff on the way, but safety first, especially when you're out there and all that stuff. You're always going to be tripping over roots and stuff on the ground that you can't see on the leaves. Looks like he might have used this site before, or someone's used it before. Look at all this bamboo. So it's been there for a while. So dare say he may have used this site before. And there's nothing wrong with that. It's probably a good thing that you're reusing a site so you're not impacting the environment too much by building all these different sites all over the place. That's a rainforest he's in. Emphasis on the rain part. Yeah, roots, digging roots suck. But as I've said in other videos, when it rains, that water's going to run downhill. Like there's a lot of clay in that. So even if it's on the surface, still run down, then it's going to find its way into your shelter. So if you do have to build something like this, yeah, I always say about and think about having a trench around the inside of the shelter. So when water does come into it, because you have to, you know, just accept the fact that water is going to get into your shelter. So it's not about trying to prevent it as much as what to do with it once it gets in there. So yeah, digging a trench around the outside of your shelter, like in the floor of the shelter. So you've got a dry spot in the middle for you to lay in, and the water can do its stuff around the outside of you. That's yeah, about the best you can do. Chipping away with his hatchet. That's a good way to blunt them. But yeah, if that's what you got to do, that's what you got to do. The other thing I'll say is that the materials he's using, he's not going out cutting down trees, and a lot of these videos out of Asia and these sort of countries, they'll just chop down a heap of trees to build their shelter. And there's two things with that. One is that, you know, you're cutting down trees that you possibly didn't need to. But the other thing is, as they dry, they're going to shrink. So anything you do here, if you're using that green timber, it's going to shrink. Whereas what he's doing and making it out of this dead timber, it's not going to shrink. Like, potentially it's still got water in it. It's going to shrink somewhat, but not anywhere near as much as if it was done with green wood, like freshly harvested wood. So yeah, I do like that he's, you know, sometimes you don't have an option. There are no trees around that are dead. The pacing's good too. Like the amount of camera angles that he's done here, it's really good. It takes a lot more work to constantly be moving that camera. Yeah, most of the shots are only a few seconds long, and then he cuts, and it's good. It keeps you engaged, because when you're watching someone do something in real life, you don't just stand there like a statue. You're moving around to get different angles, and that's what you have to do as a filmmaker, is to show those different angles for people. So yeah, he's taking the time, and when you're working with all that clay and mud and stuff, it's a real pain, because you set your camera up and you start working, your hands are covered in muck, and then you've got to stop the camera, you've got to move it all, set it all up, adjust the tripod, focus, hit record again. So you've got to clean your hands, at least one hand, to do that, and then you go back in, you dirty your hand up to get that continuity to show your hands are dirty still. You film for like 10 seconds, and then you go and clean your hand off, move the camera, and you're constantly doing that all day. And it's hard work. It takes time and effort, and it's why it takes like 4 times longer to do things. So I appreciate the work that he's putting into this, to filming this. He likes putting that little subscribe button up on the screen constantly. I think that's like the second or third time I've seen that so far in this video. We're not even halfway through yet. And that fireplace, I'll mention it now in case I forget to mention it later on. It's all well and good what he's done there. He's like used the logs or bits of wood and then lined it with clay. But that clay, as it dries, it's going to crack. As it shrinks away, it's going to form cracks. And it's fine in the short term, but if you were there living in this thing for weeks or months, those cracks are slowly going to fill up with carbon as it's burning all that soot that's coming off the fire, and it's going to blacken the inside, which is carbon. It's going to fill those cracks, and then there's a potential that a spark will land in that carbon and ignite it like char cloth. And it'll start a fire in amongst your fireplace and burn your shelter down. So yeah, it's just something to be aware of. If you've got rocks to use, then use them, but it doesn't look like he's got many rocks there, so he didn't have options. And I don't think he's going to be living in this thing, so. I don't know what the little padding on the end, what that's doing. Getting the dust off it to make it look better for the video. Video is slowing down a little bit here. Kind of established what he's doing. It's obviously taking him a bit of time to do this one little section. The way he's filming and he's moving the camera around, he could have spent hours doing this and getting all these shots. He didn't want to just say all that work for nothing. So he's, yeah, but we've kind of a bit too much time on that wall, but it's not too bad. Why he's got an outdoor fire now. Alright, so this must be the bow that he showed in the preview. Alright, so the speed of the video is slowed down. It was going along really well. While he was doing the build, it was like boom, 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 going through it. But now things have slowed down a bit. Come on, mate. Okay. Keep doing that shot. That's about the second or third time he's used that clip. I'm not sure we need to see all this. Cutting up his firewood. Did it add anything to the video other than time? No, not really. And then we show these big long pieces in the fire anyway, like all those short pieces he just chopped up. He didn't use those. Yeah, I like that he's got this cooking section. Ooh, the camera got a bit wobbly there. I like that he's used this cooking section here, just because you've built your fireplace in your shelter and you've got it all prepped and all that. So you've done that setup, and now you've got the little like payoff of actually using it for something other than heat. I don't think you need the heat in this tropical environment. So yeah, you have it for morale and for cooking on. So yeah, no, I think it's appropriate that he has this cooking section. Doesn't look like the most appetizing meal ever, but it is what it is. One pot meal. Yeah, it's a decent little shelter. It looks like, I don't know, we didn't show him finishing off the roof, did we? I don't recall seeing him, what he did to the roof. I'm imagining he just put clay on it, but yeah. Alright, we just put an empty cup in the fire. Why? Now we got water in it. It would have been good to see him put the water in it, like you just put an empty cup there, like mug in the fire, and then that was it. Then next shot we see there's water in it and he's putting stuff in it. Like he could have put it in and then showed him tipping the water in, or put it in there with water already in it instead of just magically turning, like water appearing. I like that he's got the lights. He's obviously got a filming light outside now, so we can see inside the shelter. A lot of videos they don't do that, so it's pitch black and you're flat out seeing anything. Yeah, this ending bit, it's almost like he didn't know where to end it, so he's kept back and forth a number of times. It might have come across that I was being negative through the video, but I was really just nitpicking. Like, it was a good video. I can't just sit here saying, oh, that's good, that's good. There were some parts in there, like that whole building the bow, like I don't think that didn't add anything to the video other than time. Like, he could have done that in a completely different video, like a standalone video, because, okay, I got it. If he built the bow and then you saw him go out and he used it to shoot a fish or something like that for food and then come back and cook it, that would make sense, because you've got the setup of making this bow. You spent all that time making this bow. It didn't, to me, it didn't need to be in the video. There was no place for it. It would have made the video flow better. All in all, pretty good video. I'll put a link to it in this video description. I'll put his channel there as well, because yeah, I think if this is an example of his work, then yeah, the other videos might be of interest to you as well. Chuck those links down below. You go check them out. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button, drop a comment, and yeah, catch you around.